Hi, welcome to Energetic Self-Defense. Grace Hart here, and we are talking about energies and how when you are willing to become aware of energies that are directed at you, energies around you, energies that you can choose, you can not only save your life, but you can also generate and create your life far beyond what you could imagine cognitively. Today's episode has been inspired because of the Beyond Domestic Violence podcast that I do, and we talked about shame. And shame's an energy. Now, some of us have been birthed with shame, whether it's generational trauma. We may have had experiences in life, past as well as present, that has caused us to feel shame. Now, just to be really clear, shame doesn't necessarily, it's a spectrum. It doesn't necessarily look like some really overt thing. If you just have this sense of wrongness about you, like I'm not quite right, there's something wrong with me. When you walk into a crowd, if you feel a bit like weird, social anxiety, for example, that's shame. If you are looking to your partner for approval, are they happy? Are they sad? What's going on? Am I doing okay? That's shame. Can be shame. So firstly, I would love you to get aware of what it feels like when you perceive or sense shame in your body and being. And the quickest way to do that is just think of a time where you may have felt wrong or felt like you weren't quite present. Remember, shame is not just, for example, guilt is something you've done and shame is who you are. There's something wrong with who you are. And so think of a time where you might have felt like that, where you felt you weren't worthy, where you felt invalidated or you felt embarrassed, uneasy, felt like you're just wrong. You're just a walking wrongness. So it can show up different ways. However, I'm speaking to the people who really get, yeah, that's me. I just feel like I'm wrong. That everyone else is great and doing fine, really, but it's me. There's something intrinsically wrong with me. And so when you go to that energy, I would like you to get to know what it smells like, feels like, tastes like, looks like, what it feels like when it's in your body or around your body. And it'll be different for each and every one of you. You know, some of you may feel sick, nauseous. You might feel a heaviness in a part of your body. You might feel like slime or slug or just ugly. And so I'd love you to start to ask questions. Where is this in your body? And just become aware of that. Because shame is an energy. It's not who you are. And it doesn't actually matter why you have it, whether it's because it was perpetrated on you by an abuser in this lifetime, whether it's generational trauma. It doesn't matter. The most important thing is that you recognize it's not you. It's like a t-shirt you put on, a shame t-shirt. And because that t-shirt is touching your skin, you think you're it. You think that shame is yours. And so when we start to work at or look at the energies and you're like, oh, I've got this energetic t-shirt of shame on. Okay. So rather than getting into the rightness and wrongness of who put it on and how come you put it on and what was so wrong with you that you put it on, let's not get into the right and the wrong and the good and the bad of it all. Let's just acknowledge. If you have shame, acknowledge it, right? Don't make it significant. Don't make it right or wrong. Just acknowledge it. Just like if you were, wanting to fly to Paris, well, you need to know where you are, right? Before you can get to Paris. And so you're not making where you are right or wrong or good or bad, but you do need to know, oh, I am in Melbourne, Australia. So therefore, I need to get on a plane from Melbourne, Australia to Paris. How do I do that, right? So you're wearing your t-shirt of Melbourne, for example, and you would like to change that to a Paris t-shirt, let's say, right? So firstly, acknowledge, yep, okay, I've got shame and it feels like this in my body. and it smells like that, and it makes me behave like this, and my body state, how my body presents when it's really making it significant, real and true. In other words, you're just really focused on the t-shirt, not the person wearing the t-shirt. How does it make you feel? How do you breathe? How's your body? And the second thing I want you to really look at is everything that's going on for you, there's a choice involved. Even if it's a choiceless choice, it's still a choice, right? So what's the payoff of you wearing that shirt? Did it keep you safe at some time? Did it help you to victimize the victimizer? Did it allow you control? Did it allow you to stay small? Did it allow you to not step up and contribute? Did it keep you safe? There'd be a reason why you're choosing to have this t-shirt of shame. Now, a lot of people do get offended by me saying choosing, because no one in their right mind would choose to feel ugly, to feel worthless, to feel useless, to be an abomination walking. No one would choose that. And I get what you're saying. However, whatever you think about, you are choosing. So if you're watching a romance movie, you're choosing in that moment to watch a romance movie. If you changed the station and it was a drama, you're choosing to watch the drama. So when I get you to look at the energy of shame, you're choosing to look at the energy of shame. There's no right or wrong. There's no significance. But what we tend to do is we've made shame so ugly and horrible, we don't want to look at it. And because it's against our skin, we're not correct. We think it's actually who we are. We don't realize it's not who we are. And it really is as insignificant as, oh, it's a drama playing. I don't want to watch a drama. I feel like watching an action movie or a comedy. Actually, you know what? I don't even feel like watching a movie. I'm going to turn the TV off. I'm going to choose to go out and walk in the forest. So the beautiful thing is what tends to happen is we make it so significant and we resist and react to it because it is so intrinsically not us. So it's like, you've got a beautiful garden, that's who you be, and there's this big fat weed in the middle of the garden that is shame. And so instead of us looking at the rest of the garden and really just celebrating that, we focus on that t-shirt, we focus on that weed. And instead of recognizing it as simple as, oh, this is my garden, this is my being, there's a weed, I don't like that. Okay, let me pull that out. With no significance, what we tend to do because of trauma, because we have intertwined and blended with the shame, we don't realize we can pull that weed out because we think in pulling that weed out, we're pulling ourselves out. And that means the end of us. And what I'd love to invite you to is, what if shame's just an energy that's mixed with you, that's blended with you because it's a t-shirt you've got on, and because it's a t-shirt you've got on, you buy that lie, you perpetuate that lie, and then of course others, when they look at you, they see the t-shirt. And then you have this proof. See, they too think I'm worthless. But all that's happening is that you've gone, hey, come over here, look at this weed. And they've gone, oh, that's a weed. And you've gone, see, I knew it. Right? But equally, you could have gone, hey, check out this beautiful garden. And they would have gone, oh my gosh, look at those flowers and look at that tree. And oh my gosh, and I just want to lie on this earth. It's so beautiful. And listen to all those birds that are in the forest. Right? That's what would happen if you directed their gaze to your beauty and your being. But because you've made it so significant, real and true that this weed is you spend all this time trying to, hide the weed, pretend it's not there. And of course, as soon as you put all that attention there, that's where everyone looks, right? And of course, you change who you are because you're buying the lie that you're the weed and that t-shirt. So, if it's light for you, and if it's not, please just keep listening to Beyond Domestic Violence, Trauma Transformer podcast that I do every week. That's more the mainstream giving you the education, informing you about the trauma brain and disassociated parts and how to move through this. And that's super important as well for you to get that information. But when you're ready to look at what I'm talking about here, and if you are, great, stick around. Right? We can change this. So if you get, shame's an energy. An energy can alchemize. An energy can transform. An energy can be something different by my will. So if you go back to what we were talking about, sensing, perceiving the shame in your body, and it might have already changed just from me chatting, right? Can be that quick. So perceive it in your body, that shame. What you feel like when your abuser speaks down at you, or whoever it is, or whatever the event was or events are where you felt shame or shamed. Perceive it in your body as an energy. Now, when you're wearing a t-shirt and you just take it off, you don't think about it, right? You don't think, okay, I'm going to grab this part of the t-shirt with this hand, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to try this, and then I've got to put it over my head in that way, otherwise it'll get caught. Like, you don't. You just take it off. It's just done. I'd like you to get the energy of that, the ease of done. Just like that. Blink of an eye. So imagine that energy is a t-shirt, and if you like, you could imagine it all coming into a t-shirt, and now it's on the top of your chest, for example, as a t-shirt, and you can just choose to take it off. Now, I'm also saying that some of you, depending on your disassociated parts, etc., of trauma, might feel uncomfortable with that. And there's other parts of you that are like, yes, this is it. This is the ease that I know about. And they might be having those feelings. And there might be people listening that haven't experienced trauma as such, that it's, affecting their life to such an extent that it's a disability. And they might have done some work on themselves, and they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, let's get rid of this. And I don't mean rid of it as in it's bad. It's just energy. It's no different to swapping one station to another, a music station, a radio station, one channel to another. You don't have to ponder it or really, think about it or make it significant. It's like, oh yeah, next. Or when you're flicking through the television channels, for example. There's no significance. It's just flick, 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 right? Until you like what you see. So what if change, energetic change, can be that deliciously simple, right? And fun and empowering and spacious and joyous. So if you're one of those people that enjoy the ease and the speed of things, and it's light for you, it feels really good for you to just go, yep, done. Let's change this. On 3, 1, 2, done, right? Let's do that. You can do that. Do it. You have all the power and potency and capacities to do that. If you're someone that you'd feel too naked because you've so identified and made that t-shirt so you, and it's so tethered with you, it feels like it's almost, if you took it off, it's going to rip off your skin as well. If that's happening for you, then look at the energy of untethering it, having it be a little bit of a baggy t-shirt. In other words, it's not sort of stuck to you. And maybe look at changing the color of it or the texture of it. If the energy feels, sticky, maybe look at alchemizing the energy, that you change sticky into spacious, joyousness, funny, humor, giggles, or a particular color that you love. Because really where I'm getting you to go to, especially if you are trauma infused, right? So you've really infused with that energy and you think it's you rather than just a choice. If you start playing with those concepts of it's not me, it's an energy, then you can start playing with that t-shirt. As I said, moving it, making it a shorter t-shirt. Maybe you get some scissors out and cut the t-shirt so it becomes just like a little tiny crop top. And then you might cut off the sleeves. Do what is fun for you. You might want to alchemize it where you actually, because shame Energy is energy. It doesn't have a definition to it. Energy is energy. It only changes form when you perceive it to be something. So when you perceive an energy as something, when you conclude that, then it alchemizes as that. It doesn't think of itself as good, bad, right, or wrong. It's like, oh, you want to see me as shame? Okay, I'll transform into shame. So, you might want to play with, actually, I'm a bit of a magician. I would like to just play with that T-shirt and change it to something totally different. That it was shame and now it's joy or it's gratitude. And as I said, there might be some of you that would love to just go, boom, gone. Not choosing that anymore. That's not who I am. There's no right and wrong or good or bad. But the most important thing with all energies, don't make them more powerful than you. Don't make them more significant than you. And ask yourself, what's the payoff? If it's anger, what's the payoff? What do I get when I choose this T-shirt of anger? And what else is possible? Because there would have been reasons you chose it, and valid reasons. Maybe it kept you safe in another lifetime or this lifetime. However, just because you've chosen it doesn't mean that that's all there is. That's the only choice. And it doesn't mean that there's something greater you can choose. Sorry, there isn't something greater you can choose. So ask yourself, what's the value of this T-shirt? Even if I can't even think about it, like why would I choose to have shame of myself? Just play the game. Just imagine if, what could it give you? And maybe you just don't like being around people. So you're choosing the T-shirt of shame. So when people walk past you, they're like, oh, no, I don't want to talk to that person. Or, it's like an insect repellent. Maybe you're using shame as an insect repellent, a people repellent. There's all sorts of reasons. And if you look at it through curiosity and joyfulness, like, why would I choose shame? What would it give me? Then maybe there's a greater choice where you don't have to feel so bad. Maybe there's a way, for example, if you're using shame so you don't have to deal with people, right? I get that. Maybe there's other things you can do, like having nice boundaries, so you can actually still be the magnificence of you, the beauty of you, the joy of you, and still have, an energetic when I say energetic boundaries, you're able to perceive who you would like to engage with and who you wouldn't. So this is what energetic self-defense is about. Just realize that if you are wearing the T-shirt of shame, the energetics of shame, there's a reason for it. Because whatever you're not willing to change, you're actually choosing. And that's not to make you wrong. There'd be a brilliance in that choice for whatever time and space you chose it in the past. But what I'd love to invite you to now is what's possible energetically beyond you choosing shame. And maybe it's time for you to take off that shirt and choose to be the being that you be, not the things, not the constructs that other people want you to be or think you should be, not what society indoctrinates you or parents might have indoctrinated you. What if you get to choose? And it starts with becoming energetically aware. And I'd love you to, this week, I know we're talking about shame, I'd love you to look at the energies that would be fun to not have as a T-shirt, just as a choice. So what would you like more of in your life? Let's say it's joy. You'd love more joy in your life. Great. You know what the energy of joy is, because for you to miss it, you know what it is. For you to desire it, you already know what it is. So open up your arms and receive the energies of joy. And look at things you can do to bring you that joy. And also look at people that you could contribute to that they would feel joy or joy-filled. So this is about co-creating your life, not just going, oh, I've got this t-shirt and that's just the way it is and I've identified with it and that's just what's been chosen. That's my dharma, my karma, my upbringing, my culture. I can't take that shirt off. Yeah, that's a choice. And you're not wrong for keeping it if you want to keep it. You're not wrong for changing it just partially. You're not wrong or right for any of those, including taking it off. There's just choice and what it creates. And who would you be if you chose to take off that shirt of shame? What could you contribute? How would you feel? How would your body feel if it no longer had that t-shirt of shame? If you're married, what would your husband or wife think of you when you actually didn't have that shame anymore? How would you be as a lover, a friend, a colleague, if you didn't have to look through or deal with this t-shirt every day? What if it was a moment-to-moment choice? What if you didn't have to wear anything anymore? What if nothing needs to be permanent? What if everything was just a choice in that space? And that you could choose whatever it was to create and generate greater for you, the planet, everyone. So that's the world I see. I wonder what's possible with the t-shirt of shame that you may be wearing, or you may have just let go of during this conversation, never to return. Maybe you alchemized it, you wizard you. What if you're far more powerful? And it starts with recognizing that energy is the first language. And it's also beautiful when you recognize someone else is wearing that t-shirt of shame, or they're trying to give you that t-shirt. Because now you know what it smells like, right? The t-shirt of shame. So if they try and put that on you, you'll recognize it and go, yeah, no, thanks. Inside voice, I know what that is. That t-shirt's shame, and that's not my shame. You get to keep that. Thanks very much. It's not until you recognize the energetics of something, you've got to acknowledge it. If you're not willing to acknowledge it, you can't travel anywhere else. And of course, like the Matrix, there is no t-shirt. There is no spoon. So that's where I'd love you to get to. But right now, let's just focus on that t-shirt of shame and what you can be with it and what you can choose that's totally different. Just because you've had it on doesn't mean you need to keep it on. Just saying. Your choice. No right or wrong. Have a beautiful week. Take care, guys. Bye.